A long time ago in the Tang Dynasty, there was a very powerful emperor named Li Shimin. Emperor Li Shimin was not only good at waging war, but also wrote very beautiful calligraphy. However, he could never find a work that he liked the most, the Lantingxu. The Lantingxu was written by Wang Ziji, and it's so beautiful. Everyone was very anxious, but no one could find it. One day, the emperor heard that the Lantingxu might be with an old monk. The emperor quickly sent people to invite the old monk. The old monk is called Biankai, and he lives in a quiet temple. Master Biankai was invited to the palace, and everyone respected him. The emperor personally welcomed him and treated him very well. The emperor asked the old monk, "Have you seen the Lantingxu?" The old monk said, "Oh dear. It was lost during the war and it can't be found." The emperor was very disappointed after hearing this and sighed. The emperor saw the old monk off. The emperor returned to the study and still couldn't figure out what to do. At this time, the emperor's good friend Fang Xuanling came. Fang Xuanling asked the emperor, "Why are you so troubled?" The emperor said, "I really want to find the Lantingxu, but the old monk said it was lost." Fang Xuanling thought for a moment, and his eyes lit up. Fang Xuanling said, "I have an idea." The emperor's eyes brightened at the sound of this. "What idea is it?" Fang Xuanling said, "We have a man named Xiao Yi in our court, and he is very clever." The emperor nodded, thinking this was a good idea. Fang Xuanling said, "He might be able to help you find the Lantingxu." The emperor sent for Xiao Yi, and he came to the palace. The emperor told Xiao Yi about the Lantingxu. Yao Yi said, "I will do my best." Xiao Yi put on a tattered scholar's robe and disguised himself as a poor scholar. He took several pieces of calligraphy and set off to find the old monk. Xiao Yi arrived at the old monk's temple and saw the old monk sweeping the ground. Xiao Yi walked up and politely said, "Master, I am Xiao Yi, passing by here, and I came to pay my respects." The old monk looked up and said with a smile, "Please have a seat. I will go and make some tea." Xiao Yi sat down, and the old monk went to make tea. The old monk brought the tea and started chatting with Xiao Yi. Xiao Yi spoke so eloquently that the old monk was completely captivated. The old monk said with a smile, "Your learning is really good, just like my little grandson." Xiao Yi was very happy inside, but he still wore a smiling face. A few days later, Xiao Yi took out his own calligraphy and showed it to the old monk. The old monk looked at it carefully and said with a smile, "Not bad." The old monk said, "Your calligraphy is indeed good, but compared to the treasure I have, it still falls short." Xiao Yi asked in feigned surprise, "Master, what treasure are you talking about?" The old monk whispered mysteriously, "I have a Lantingxu written by Wang Ziji." Xiao Yi was overjoyed inside, but he still pretended not to believe it. The old monk said, "Let me show you." The old monk took Xiao Yi to his chamber, climbed up a ladder, and took out a brocade box from a small hole in the roof beam. The old monk opened the brocade box, revealing the Lantingxu. Xiao Yi pretended to admire it carefully, but he was actually very happy inside. Xiao Yi took the opportunity when the old monk was not paying attention and hid the Lantingxu in his bosom. The next day, Xiao Yi made an excuse to bid farewell to the old monk and left the temple in a hurry. The old monk saw Xiao Yi off, very reluctant to part. Xiao Yi returned to the palace and handed the Lantingxu to Emperor Li Shimin. Emperor Li Shimin was so excited that he was almost in tears when he saw the Lantingxu. Emperor Li Shimin carefully unfolded the Lantingxu and exclaimed, "This is truly the best running script in the world, a masterpiece by Wang Ziji." Emperor Li Shimin ordered the craftsman to make a jade casket to enshrine the Lantingxu. The old monk was panic-stricken when he discovered that the Lantingxu was missing. The old monk looked everywhere in his chamber, but he couldn't find it. The old monk was heartbroken when he confirmed that the Lantingxu was lost, and he began to cry. The old monk used the grain sent by Emperor Li Shimin to build a pagoda next to the temple. The pagoda was completed, and the old monk stood in front of it, looking at it solemnly. The emperor held the Lantingxu every day and couldn't bear to part with it. The emperor had the craftsmen make a jade casket, and they worked very diligently. The jade casket was completed, and the emperor placed the Lantingxu inside it. The emperor enshrined the jade casket on a high platform in the study, treating it with great reverence. Later, the emperor passed away, and the palace became very quiet. The emperor was buried in a large tomb. The Lantingxu was also placed inside the tomb. The tomb was sealed, and no one could enter it anymore. The Lantingxu disappeared into the night sky like a star. Later, everyone spread the story that the Lantingxu was taken into the tomb by the emperor. Although the Lantingxu can no longer be seen, its story continues to be passed down.